One man. One moment. One decision. That saved the entire world. You've never heard his name, but you owe him your life. In the cold shadows of the Cold War, when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear apocalypse, a Soviet officer made a choice that defied protocol, and stopped World War III. This is the untold story of Stanislav Petrov. The man who saved the world. Before we dive deep into this powerful true story, make sure to subscribe for more untold legends, hidden truths, and real-life heroes you've never heard of. The year was 1983. The Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union had reached its most dangerous point since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Nuclear weapons were on hair-trigger alert. One miscalculation, one glitch, could unleash Armageddon. Stanislav Petrov wasn't a general or a president. He was a mid-level officer in the Soviet Air Defense Forces. Born into a military family, trained in engineering, and assigned to a quiet monitoring base outside Moscow, he was no hero. Just a man with a conscience. But history doesn't always crown kings. Sometimes, it whispers the names of quiet men, and hopes we remember. It was just past midnight on September 26. The moon hung heavy in the Russian sky. Petrov sat in the command center, surrounded by computers. Suddenly, alarms exploded. Missile launch detected. Then 2 missiles. Then 5. U.S. intercontinental ballistic missiles heading straight for Moscow. The protocol was clear: report to superiors. Retaliate. Launch a full nuclear response. Petrov's hand hovered over the red phone. He knew if he reported the alert as real, the Kremlin would launch a counterstrike, killing millions. But something didn't feel right. Why only 5 missiles? Why not hundreds? He trusted his instincts. He chose not to report it. He broke protocol. He gambled with the fate of the world. The alert was a false alarm. A rare satellite glitch. If Petrov had followed orders, history would have ended that night. But he didn't receive a medal. He wasn't celebrated. He was reprimanded, interrogated, and quietly discharged. The man who saved the world vanished into obscurity. Years passed. The Cold War ended. The world moved on, but didn't know how close it came to ending. It wasn't until decades later that the truth came out. Human rights groups honored Petrov. The UN gave him recognition. A documentary called him the man who saved the world. But most people still don't know his name. Stanislav Petrov taught us that sometimes the greatest hero is the one who chooses not to act in hate or fear, but in thought. That real courage isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's silent, sitting alone in the dark, facing the weight of the world, and choosing peace. Today, we remember the man who defied destruction, and saved humanity with one quiet decision. From the quiet shadows of history, Stanislav Petrov left behind a lesson the world must never forget. He taught us that trusting our humanity, over rigid protocol, can be the difference between war and peace. That even when the rules scream to react, sometimes the bravest thing we can do, is to pause, to question, and to feel. He showed us that one person, even far from the spotlight, can change the course of history. Not with armies or speeches, but with a single, silent decision. In an age where we lean so heavily on technology, he reminded us that machines can fail, but human judgment, instinct, and conscience still matter more than ever. And though he wore no medal, and his name was hidden for years, Petrov's courage defines what true heroism looks like. It's not always loud. It doesn't demand glory. Sometimes, it's just one man, in the dark, choosing not to destroy. He proved that peace is a choice, and so is destruction. Every day, in every part of our lives, we face that same decision. He chose peace. Above all, he reminded us that this world is fragile, our survival often hanging on seconds, on instinct, on conscience. And that we must remember the forgotten heroes, the quiet guardians of humanity. Because without them, we might not be here at all.